You know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing that it looks good on you and it was very unexpected. I'm hearing so many different things, but one thing above all is that you have some admirers, and these people are very conflicted because the stuff that you have or you're about to has been very unexpected, especially because there was either one or multiple characters in your life that, I'm going to say it plainly and I don't care how it gets interpreted or misinterpreted. These characters, they wanted to see you play a different role. And for some of you, it has something to do with the way you look or the way that you have presented yourself. Like your kindness or your generosity to some extent has been misinterpreted as you being the helper. Like you being the character that is second to the main character. But the roles have reversed. Like what I'm getting lately is that if you are one of those energies who feels tired or who needs to rest, it's because what I heard today was that spirit is getting you out of the way. There are some past timelines at this time. People who need to do right, people who are needing to pay karmic debt. It's almost like the path has been cleared out for them. And they're receiving dreams, they're receiving signs, synchronicities, revelations. They're being gently guided towards the path of, I heard reconciliation, but also accountability. And to some extent, this has a lot to do with like collective forgiveness. This has a lot to do with the fact that we are all rising to a level of truth, a level of higher frequency, and nobody's going to get left behind. So the energies that you might be feeling right now, if you're extra tired, you want it, like you have a lot of ambition, you have a lot of things to push forward for, but you are being, quote, held back. And I've gotten some messages, people saying these are spiritual attacks. No, Spirit told me these are not spiritual attacks. These are actually you being pulled out of the way because you have a loud presence, you have a loud expression, and these people need room, they need silence, they need space because this is a repetitive thing that has happened. This is like happening on multiple different timelines, on multiple layers of reality, on several parallel dimensions, that they're all coming to this perfect crossroad. And these energies are needing to see themselves clearly. And usually that can happen if the loudest person in the room, energetically speaking, hence you, is guided out of the way, distracted for a moment, put to rest, like rest, take some time off, be quiet. There is that energy right now. And for a lot of you, you might be guided to clear out some things in the past, whether it's people, certain things that you've just left hanging around. Like there's a focus to clear out space. And this has a lot to do with the fact that there are some people who are being aligned into your timeline. And these are people who are managing to accept responsibility. And that is why they need time. That's a side note, side message here. The main message that I've got today is of a person, again, who wanted you to be categorized as a specific thing. Specifically, this energy wanted you to seem like you were after people that were unavailable. Take it if it resonates. It's not going to resonate for everyone. For some of you, this is a past person of yours. For others, this is somebody that doesn't even know you properly. They wanted you to be perceived as someone who goes after people that are unavailable, as someone who is like messy and reckless. More often than not, this person knows you're the very opposite. That's why they want you to be presented in this way. It suits you. The energy that you are wearing suits you so effortlessly, but in a way they're inspired by it, but also challenged. And you might be this person's like ultimate desire, right? And so in one way or another, meaning like they might want to be like you, they might not want you. For a lot of you, it's this very confusing energy of this person not wanting you that way because they might not even be attracted to you in that way. They want to be you, though. They want to be like you. And for others of you, they're just wanting you to be seen in a different light because they know exactly who you are. They know that you aren't ubiquitous, that you don't spread yourself wide and far, but they want you to appear like that to a particular group of people or to a particular person that they feel a sense of either territorialness over, or they feel a sense of envy about. So take this how it resonates for you. But this energy, again, for some of you, this is somebody who has created a lot of ruckus in the past life. Like, I will have a separate video about how I see like reincarnation, because I don't see it in a linear way, because all of time is happening right now simultaneously. And as I mentioned on that side note here about you being taken out of the way or being moved to a place of rest, so that these people in the past life, these people who are literally facing karmic justice, I'm hearing like spirit is actually taking it very easy on them, and some of them don't even deserve that. And they're needing to see this as a major opportunity for them to actually set themselves free from greater harm. Like, if they don't take this opportunity, which is, it seems like all of spirit is conspiring for them to take this path, they're going to be in a very dark place. And they might be repeating the same cycle for a very long time, if not. But whoever this person is, they came in between you and a group of people or a group of connections that were supposed to be your recovery. I feel like I've been beating this down this whole year, and spirit has done a lot to recover certain aspects of this elusive energy that I may not have been able to fully convey. And one of the facts is that the people that you were supposedly supposed to recover with had a lot of karma to deal with. And it may not even have to do with their associations. It actually has a lot to do with their own undealt with things. Because I've always said this before, but I'm going to say it again. You have become a very easy target. And in many ways, it's because you overperform. Even if you don't think that you do, and if you actually don't overperform, then this isn't for you. You might be one of the other energies. You overperform. You take accountability to your own detriment. There is, and you're not a too good shoes kind of person, but you can easily play that role, which is why people put you on a pedestal and they get upset that they've put you there. They get upset that it actually looks good on you where they've put you mentally, and they try to undermine you or dismiss you or make things harder for you than they need to be. They don't care for you as much. And all of this is them trying to mitigate some level of power and control over the way in which they see you. So these energies that you were supposedly meant to recover with were easily infiltrated by these past energies, or somebody who wants you to be perceived in this loose manner. They were easily infiltrated because they wanted somebody to punch on. They wanted a beating, like a punching bag. They wanted someone that was easily targetable. Someone that, since you don't expect negative karma because you're not approaching people in that way, someone that they can easily like hoodwink is what I'm hearing. But they wanted to make you seem like you would chase after, again, unavailable people. Because more often than not, some of the ways that you've behaved has made this energy feel like they were a fraud. Like, people around them have seen that certain characteristics that they have worn, they were only able to wear it because they had diminished it in you. They were only able to wear it because they learned it from you, but they weren't giving credit where credit was due. In fact, they wanted to overreach and cast you in a specific kind of light. All of these energies do not have access. And for a lot of messages that I've gotten, there's this confusion of there being like a lot of spiritual warfare. And I was guided to see it in a different way. It isn't a spiritual warfare because it hasn't a thing to do with your karma. In fact, for a lot of you, you're being swayed to either like clean your space or to minimize certain outreach that you have with certain people because you're being guided out of the path. And these people are being like ridden into this path. That's what they're being ridden, and you need to be out of the way. So whoever this person was regarding like the person who was hoodwinked, or the person who, not hoodwinked, the person who was easily swayed, or who kind of was more than happy to see you in this, oh, this person is a chaser, this person is like a fraud identity. Whoever this person was who was kind of desperate to see you in that light, they wanted to do so because they didn't want to feel that extra umph about you. They wanted any way to escape the grasp of your aura, like the magnetism of who you are. They wanted to mitigate it to some extent. And in some way, this energy, this wannabe energy, gave them an escape. They gave them an escape momentarily, but it came at such a huge price because they can't seem to get rid of your energy. There is something that they are here to learn from you and to learn with you on. There is an inevitable crossroad that this energy, whether it's a friend or a relative or a sibling or a relationship, even though I don't believe in those, whatever it is, this energy has to eventually cross paths with you. And this is why the past life or the past incidents are being cleared. And for a lot of you, if you're experiencing deja vu, like, or you're experiencing deep memories of your childhood, or just a very confusing sense of like having experienced this moment before, or something very like etched or ingrained about certain days that you're experiencing, it's because they've been repeated over and over again. It's like, it's a cycle that has been repeated over and over again because it has to be overcome. It has to be overcome on behalf of the people that you're dealing with and you. I hope this message is not confusing. 12:21 as I looked at it. There's a lot of mirroring going on. So what I'm hearing is that whoever these energies are, right? Like, it seems like they've worked in tandem. But someone is realizing that they don't actually relate with the envy and the jealousy. They don't relate with, again, the deja vu, it's hitting me again. They don't relate with the maliciousness of the way this person has approached, or the way this person has tried to make your character seem distasteful. Again, momentarily, it gave them a break, like whoever this energy is to you in your life. It gave them a break where they could step aside and, cast you in a light that they would rather see you in, because they didn't want to be magnetically pulled into your sphere, because they have fears, like they feel like they cannot trust people. And all of this, I feel like you're mirroring that back to them, because this energy brought out aspects of you that you didn't even know that you had to deal with. Like aspects of you perhaps that you never challenged, or there was never someone that mirrored your characteristics back to you, so much so to show you certain negative aspects about yourself that you weren't able to access. And in some way, there's a twinness about this energy, and this person was very confused is what I'm getting. Like they were very confused about whether they related more with the influence that wanted to maliciously paint you, or whether they related with you and the characteristics about themselves, the positive ones, that they have tried to harness in this lifetime. And there is this back and forth, like this, it's getting taut is what I'm hearing. Like it's getting tighter and tighter, and the decision has to be made. Like the paths are becoming cut out, and we're reaching a point where they have to take either a left or a right. And so this deja vu energy is happening because I feel like this is a very impactful transition in the collective. And there is this energy of like no one needing to be left behind, everyone needing to learn their karmic lesson. And there being no shortcuts or out. So this person, right, that is trying to avoid your magnetic pull, they wanted to use the excuse of being hoodwinked or deceived by certain people around them or the specific person who knows you. They, or who pretended like they did, whichever. They wanted for so long to use that excuse, right? But now they're kind of like mitigating their response or their approach towards you by seeing the fact that you're not going to take that. You're not going to say, oh, were you now? Were you fooled? Oh, poor baby. Let me give you another chance. You're not going to do that. So they're being faced with a greater, like a harsher truth about why. Like, why they wanted something that they have prayed about or something that they have wanted to manifest in their life, why they were comfortable with never seeing it come. Like they were comfortable with never seeing it like manifest. They didn't realize that they had these deep-rooted fears. And I feel like they came from a very insecure place because in the past they could lord over people. They had that superiority complex. They had that pride about them that they could obviously stand on a high horse with the people that they're around because those people were not very reliable. They didn't really have characteristics that made this person feel challenged, whereas you did. So they wanted an escape route. They wanted to never be tied into a very, stable and legitimate place where they would be accountable. They would genuinely be accountable because it's easy to be accountable with people who, the bar is very low. It's easy to be accountable there, but it wasn't easy to be accountable in the place that you were trying to meet this energy at. But they can't avoid the growth. That's what I'm hearing. Like, people cannot avoid the growth that is being yanked out of them right now. It's like you either grow or you die. Like, that is where we are right now in the collective, in this energy. It's so potent that's why I said it. Like, some people did not make it past this phase because it was so, the shadow that we had to integrate is so deep and dark that it's not about blaming anymore. It's not about saying, well, this person harmed me, I'm the victim. No, it's like even the victims are being questioned. Even the victims are being pulled out and their desires are being seen for what they are. And the villain isn't just a villain anymore. Their story needs to be heard. They're not going to have stones thrown at them. There is a very fundamental, absolutely earth-shattering shift taking place in this collective. And it's actually bridging the gap of the dark side and the light side. And nobody gets to sit on a high horse. That's what I'm hearing. Like, there is no high horse anymore. There's only communication, understanding, and that is the only way we can manage to deal with that dark shadow of humanity, where I feel like the psychopaths and the sociopaths had free reign over these people. That is why this specific energy was so quick to misunderstand you on purpose, because it's like, that's why I got this message. It's like, I want to escape, right? And spirit is like shutting all the doors of escape away from the collective so we can all grow in tandem. And that is why we're experiencing deja vu. I feel like it's one of those things in the Matrix where we are like, this is the time that the Matrix dies. And so we're all kind of like hitting a wall, and the game gets restarted, and we hit the same wall. The game gets restarted. We're hitting the same wall. And this is the wall that we have to do something differently. We have to do something differently. We can't be in that religious mindset of like, if your left hand offends you, cut it. No, that's not it anymore. We're not there anymore. The collective isn't there. The light is so bright that it's not about cutting off the left hand. It's about integrating it. It's about seeing why the left hand is offending. Like, what's the psychology behind that? And why is the victim, instead of saying you attracted it, it's like there is an aspect of the victim that might enjoy being victimized. And all of these things, these icky things that we refuse to see, why the victimizer, what kind of power they take, and what does that power feel like? What does it feel? What kind of control does it give them that they don't have otherwise? All of these things are needing to be talked about. And so the only way we do it is hand in hand, not by sitting on a high horse where there's a villain and a hero. We're not there anymore in the collective. We're not. And that's why we're hitting this wall. So what I'm hearing is that this energy, this person, who may not be a sociopath, but I feel like they were deceived by one. They so badly want to confess. Like there is this itching energy in the collective of like, I need to get this off my chest. And this is why a lot of you might be like being asked to clear room, like actual physical room where you're cleaning your house, but also mental room where there needs to be like no thoughts. Like there needs to be like a vacancy, like an empty, an openness and availability, because these people are being ridden into this one path. I keep saying that because that's what I'm feeling. And this energy wants to confess so badly. Like they want to make things, quote, right in some fashion. And it doesn't look like what we think it does. You know what I mean? It's not going to look like what we think it does. And they're terrified is what I'm hearing. They're terrified about your reaction. And this is why there could be an emphasis on silence, an emphasis on, again, taking rest. Because this isn't about you or them. This is about the growth of like our energy body. This is about the growth of like godhood, the growth of the kingdom, you know, this is about shedding light on the deepest, darkest recesses of the human psychology that has kept these worn out cycles repeating themselves over and over again. This is why people become so extremist and they take some of the most extreme parts in the Bible to try to elicit control over the domination of the dark. But that always leaves us repeating the same cycle. So the only way past this is to actually have the most difficult conversations without judgment and crucifixion involved. And that's what we're seeing here happening. And this energy is being propelled to be a breaker of the generational curse, because it's easy for the person who's been victimized to speak. But the person who is the villain, now that's a whole other ballgame. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing spirit pulling strings that have never been pulled before. Strings that have been rusty. Strings that religion, I feel like people who are all love and light have been a false prophet in deceiving people into thinking that that is the way, but it's not. And so these energies, these people, this person, they cannot avoid the magnetic pull because the room has been made, has been created for this to manifest. I'll be talking more about this, but one thing that scares this energy is that this means a persona of theirs is going to die. This means inevitable, certain death to something. But the other side is so enticing. Like that's what I'm hearing. The other side of what could be past this generational curse that has been passed down to this villain, quote unquote. And you, if you are the villain, I'm sure there's going to be this message is going to reach villains and victims. You're being called to do something that has never been done before. And the reception that you're going to receive is not going to be what you expect. And the death is going to be so worth it, because the rebirth that you will experience, it's almost like the birth of new untouchables. That's what I'm feeling. The movement is here. The rise is here. I hope this resonated. I really do. And I don't reach out. Those are scammers. Everything is in the description box down below, as usual. Until next time.